Well, hello, welcome back. New year. Today is January 14th, 2026. This is the Real Estate Note Investing Be the Bank broadcast. Today, we're going to have a party of six. We got a new guy joining us today, Mr. Jay Benoit. Last time we were on the show, we talked about kind of lessons learned. This time, I got some fun questions to ask the guys going forward about, what they think about doing certain things in the note business and what they would lean towards as far as things of due diligence and post closing. So stay tuned. All right. The first thing I got to ask is who got coal in their stocking this year?
I didn't
Nobody?
get cold, but I got a stomach flu.
Oh, that's the same thing.
That's worse.
Yeah,
That's worse.
Well, that's right. You and your fiance both got sick at the same time, didn't you?
Yeah, right after New Year's. So it's a cheat code for any like weight loss ambitions for the year. So you
No
get-
kidding.
Oh,
GLP-5.
Yeah, this is faster than that. Yeah, this is faster.
Instant
instant almost.
instant weight loss.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
that we get a harass the new guy today, Jay Benoit.
Who
Welcome
can't
to
hear
our
us right
show.
now?
You can't hear us?
No, he just messaged saying he can't hear.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Got it now. It's working.
That's
Okay,
working.
now.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Should we start over?
Start over. Run from the top. Run from the top. Well, Jay, we were just gonna pick on you today, so just don't get upset with us if you're like the punchline of every joke today.
I won't even know what it means.
Jay, so the audience doesn't know much about you and they'd like to know a little bit more about you. So I thought you could give like a quick little rundown on kind of like where you're at geographically and what the main things you do in the world of real estate and or notes.
Yeah, sure. So I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I pretty much create notes. So I'm doing hard money lending in Birmingham and metro and surrounding areas, even outside of Birmingham, up into Nashville. Plan is to get up in Chattanooga as well. So we'll have a little bit of a triangle between Birmingham, Nashville, and Chattanooga. A couple notes that are a little bit further out up in Idaho, but that's going to be relationship driven versus geographically opportunity type stuff. And so the hard money loans that we're creating are short term, 12 months. A lot of them pay out as soon as they can. So we encourage prepayments. And a lot of our folks are running anywhere between 6 and 9 months today. So we do charge pretty hefty rates, and we charge points. We service them in-house, and then we find investors that are going to work with us to help them become the bank and earn some interest, some good yielding interest backed by real estate on their end.
You charge like 36% per month, every month on your hard money loans.
No, we're going to be minimum of 12.99 usually.
Just under the usury law, just whatever it is, they're just
under.
like half point under.
Just under the usury law. That's right.
I like that. Jay, thanks for being on the show. So the first question I wanted to ask the group, and I'll just kind of go around the room and each of you can answer. I'll start with Dan because he shows up in the middle, top of my screen here. Do you have like a never again rule you'll do and you'll live by as far as like when you're in a deal or you're getting ready to buy a deal, like never again will I do this?
Can I name names? Or
Probably should.
a few things came to mind. Yeah, I'm not going to go there, but
As long as there's nobody on this broadcast.
never again for me. One big one, and I think I've talked about this deal before, but like if I'm going to buy a non-performing note where I've got a good idea this is going to foreclosure, if there's like trash in the yard or it's like real rough on the outside, I'm going to stay away because it's probably going to be 10 times worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's at least
On
as
the
bad or if
inside.
not worse inside.
Yeah, and I've even had ones that were like nice on the outside that were still messed up. Yeah, so usually like if there's smoke, there's fire with that. So yeah.
Jamie, what is the never again rule that you would live by?
Start a servicing company.
I was actually, I literally,
I was wondering
I
that.
literally had that written down. Buy servicing company was what I had written down.
Lots of lessons learned from that. That could be 5 different broadcast episodes. I'll use a more micro example because most people probably aren't going to try that. But
this
I
is
would
yours,
say-
though. You can
What's
do whatever
that?
you want. It's yours, though. You can do whatever you want.
I would say never. Well, I try not to say never, but for this answer, I'll say I'll never again buy a defaulted note or even quote unquote performing where the pay history is super lumpy. So, we've probably alluded to this in the past, but where a borrower falls behind, then reinstates, and then falls behind, reinstates, falls behind, reinstates.
Yeah.
I don't like those type of notes, whether it doesn't matter how delinquent they are really at the time of purchase. So I'd much rather buy a note where they're 2 years behind, but they're paying consistently, or they're just stopped paying entirely, or they're paying relatively consistently and essentially caught up. So it can really backfire for many different for many different reasons. Buying what I call is a note with a lumpy payer can really backfire. So
I like that description, lumpy payer.
They pay in lumps, just
Yeah.
not very often.
Benoit, you're the next one I see on the list.
Yeah, I don't really know if I've got anything on that never list. There's things that I don't want to do frequently again. And I'd say one of those is we've created some loans in the past where they didn't provide any monthly payments. They would just pay the interest when they fixed the property up and they sold it on the tail end. I used to do a lot of lending like that when I was not in an entity structure. I just had my IRA funds or something like that. I'd loan money out. It wasn't a big deal because I didn't need to receive the cash flow. And I kind of carried that into the LLC world. And frankly, that doesn't work so well. The notes don't do so great. People are looking for cash flow. Even if they have an LLC today, they want to see that cash flow. So that's probably mine.
Okay. Reading.
Mine
Never again.
never use a specific servicer that I will not name names. And it wasn't Jamie's.
Yeah, not sure that's an option anymore. But
So yours was vendor. Never again use this specific vendor.
Yep, never again. Actually, there's 2 on that list.
There's 2 now.
Yeah,
I
there's
have
2 on
4.
that. You got 4?
He's got 4.
I bet we have a couple of the same ones.
So,
I've got one on my list.
one's got 3 initials, another's got 2 initials. So
4 initials. Maybe?
4 initials.
yeah.
one of them you didn't have a choice, Chris. Anyway,
4 initials, not by 5. That wasn't where I was going.
That's actually what I thought you were saying. I'm
No,
like,
that wasn't what I meant.
actually,
No,
that's
no,
another
no,
one.
no,
So,
No.
Mine's a 2 initial.
All right. Seveney, since Jamie stole yours, do you have another one?
I've got 5. So,
Okay.
let's just say,
You
Cook
pick your favorite one.
County. I'll rattle them off real quick.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be quick.
Okay.
Cook County, Cuyahoga County, mobile homes, seconds, 0% interest loans.
Okay.
Why mobile
Great.
homes?
You can dive into that a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
I had one in one of the Carolinas that they never unrecorded it from the car, or they made it real property, but they didn't remove it from as a car
DMV.
as well, the DMV. So they didn't pay it to DMV. So the DMV actually sold it at tax sale, even though it was also real property. So it was real property and personal property. So basically it's sold at the tax sale. So the actual mobile home was actually lost because it was sold there, even though it had been transferred to real property, but they never removed it, like it was on the deed and everything. And I had actually sold the property, but the buyer didn't get title insurance on it. So then somebody came and drove off with the fucking mobile home. What the heck? But it was like,
Yikes.
thankfully, it was like a 1981 like Fleetwood, like online Kelly Blue Book value of this thing was like $5,000.
Yeah.
They
So I
did you a
basically-
favor.
Yeah, so I basically said, hey, look, you know, they overpaid for the property, so I said, hey, I'll split it with you, and I'll cut you a check for $2,500 and go from there and so forth. Because that's the same thing. I was going to renovate it. I'm like, you're probably better off actually that they pulled the thing
Yeah,
out. But
pulled it. Yeah.
you know, kind of shame on you for not getting title insurance. Kind of shame on me as well for selling a property that kind of, you know, well, it was
I
a
think-
that
complete
you didn't
mess.
know wasn't.
Yeah, so
relinquished.
I had some culpability in it, and
I think we should look for a
um,
mobile home in Chris's driveway. Just saying.
so
That'd be a long
Right.
driveway.
So that is more the reason behind the mobile homes is because of the real property versus personal property.
All right. So the lesson there is to make sure that you check at the DMV as well, as, even though it's been retired. Confirm it.
Yeah, because it's like you see it on the deed and everything. It was part of the transfer, and you know they list it with the VIN and everything and note it, but yeah, they never did.
I think you missed the real lesson, Jay. It's don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, well,
Yeah, just don't do it.
Never again.
I would say something I learned earlier in my career was always check the insurance when you buy the loan to see if it's actually what do they call it?
Yeah, there's two
Is it
types.
valid the word, or what was the word?
Active.
Active. Thank you.
There's
Active.
active, but then there's a type that when you buy it, if the incident occurred like before you bought it, like can you still file a claim against a policy versus you can't file a claim or something? There's also another type of insurance that you want to make sure that if something happened after you bought it, but it was prior to the transfer, that you know you can still actually file that claim. Some policies you can, some you can't.
I'll tell you what. Let's talk about things that you still get nervous about when you look at deals. I'll just go ahead and start. We'll just do a snake, go back and forth here. So I'd say valuation right now is what makes me nervous because I'm really unsure even getting broker price opinions on what the value is going to be. So I'm always kind of skeptical going into a deal, knowing like what's the real value. So I'm trying to take my time looking at it from different perspectives on what I think the value should be on a property before I get into the deal.
For me, I think it's call records.
Oh,
sorry.
not you. We're on Chris. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So I won't repeat anyone else's, so it's easy for me with Justin. Right now, the thing that makes me nervous is timelines in judicial states because they just continue to drag. And we're now reviewing, kind of analyzing what adjusted timelines are now so we can update our models and stuff. And we're trying to shift more to non-judicial because those judicial timelines are really starting to creep and get, you know, thankfully we allow for a lot of time within our timelines, but
Yeah.
man, oh man, it's just like watching paint dry.
Yeah. Ready?
I
What gets
honestly,
you nervous?
no, I when you said that on valuation, I was the first thing that popped into my mind because I feel like the sand is shifting right now, and depending upon what market you're in, it's slipping much faster in certain markets versus the others. I mean, I think here in Midwest, like most things in the Midwest, we're like 2 years behind everything that happens on the East and West Coast.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like we're not surprised at things changing, but you know, depending upon where you're at in Texas, or we do some stuff in Texas, we do Indiana. I mean, we are conservative on valuations right now as well.
Were you on my webinar today, Jay? Because
I
just completely stole everything I talked about on my
No,
webinar.
I
I had
was.
the copyright go across the screen. 'cause-
Yeah, there you go. No, I tried. I was on another call and I tried to get on at 12:30, and you were already done. And then I got Lauren's email, and while I was eating here, I actually watched it. But that was one even beforehand. So I totally agree with what you were saying on that. But yeah, I figured you're gonna bust my chops on it, so that's okay.
Such a softball. So,
Yeah. Benoit, what gets you nervous in deals right now?
Because we are short term in and out so quick, there's a handful of things that can go wrong in any cycle. It doesn't matter if it's a situation like we're in today or something like maybe we were in 2019 or even 2008. The main things that are going to get us are always the after repair value and the construction realm. So we're always really concerned with that no matter what, because you got to be dialed in on the after repair value. We do a 6-month look back only, not a 1-year look back, because by the time they get done with their rehab, it's going to be about month 6. That's when the 1-year look back should start. So the things that happen between 6 months plus to 12 month, it's going to be irrelevant at that point when it comes to a comp. And the construction part of it, that's always a place where you can find a lot of holes where investors don't really get very tight, and a lot of money can be wasted and lost. Mm-hmm. So making sure we do our inspections, checking on those guys, and just keeping our thumb on it. Those are always the 2 things we're concerned with.
Okay.
Are you finding that holding times are really increasing for you?
We've gone from 6-month averages about a year ago to about 9-month averages now.
Okay, so they are.
And the work has slowed down, the construction has slowed down, contractors aren't as plentiful. They have a lot of jobs, and I think maybe the financing has gotten a little bit tighter in some areas. So getting out of a deal is not as fast either. So 9 months is about average.
Jamie, do you have something to get you nervous?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just third the valuation comment quickly. That is what popped into my head too, and I've got a recent example of it where 2 different BPOs that were 6 months apart were about 50% different.
Wow.
Well, actually, the second was 66% of the first BPO from 6 months prior, and the property was vacant. So, yeah, just trusting BPOs. But the one I'll say is my original, I guess, is self-serviced seller finance notes. Yeah. That doesn't mean they can't be good, but just it's if a loan that's on an owner-occupied property has been self-serviced, it's not with a licensed servicer, third-party servicer. It's more difficult to validate that pay history, and easy to just say, oh yeah, look at these payments that hit my bank account, and it's like, well, I don't know if that's really true or not. So yeah, that would be mine. That makes me nervous.
Deppen?
Yeah, so mine goes, I guess, along with that, like a little bit, but I was going to say, call reports from loan servicers, whether they're from servicers or self-serviced. I feel like there's just never, and it's always been like this, but there's not a lot of detail there. So if a loan is like, I will buy a lot of those lumpy loans we were talking about earlier, and they don't really give you much of a read on the borrower, like they really should.
They're not asking the appropriate questions to really give us a feel.
Or they are, but they're not putting them in the notes, right? Like I can think of like one servicer in particular that uses these like super cryptic acronyms that just meant like they had contact, but it doesn't really give you the feel for like what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, talking about servicers kind of dovetails into what I was going to ask next. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I just want to hear people's opinion and why. And we'll go back to Dan here. So who should be talking to the borrower? Is it you, your servicer, or is it like somebody else, another party that you would contract with?
So my answer to that has kind of evolved over time. Like my answer now, and I would say like the right answer would be just to have the loan servicer do it. Where I've done it on my own is I found that I can get, like, if I need to make contact with the borrower for something, I can get things going a lot faster on my own. Like I've had cases where like a loan servicer's taken months to make no contact, and I pick up the phone and like 10 minutes later, we've got stuff worked out. But these days now that I have way more on my plate, I don't really want to spend my time doing that. So I want the loan servicer to do it. Not that I can't do it better, necessarily, but it's like I'm paying them to do the job. I'd rather just have them go do it.
Bateman.
Yeah, I mean, and again, most of I know some people on here don't deal with owner occupied notes as much. So specifically for owner occupied notes and loans, we don't talk to borrowers. I have before, but the servicer should be doing that, and or attorney. That's just how we do it. And one big reason, there are several reasons, but one is I don't necessarily trust that I will be a good judge of whether their story is legit or not, and I just want to remain somewhat neutral and objective in my decision making. And so everybody's got a good story, and some are legitimate, and I just feel like I might be too nice, honestly, if I deal with them directly.
Yeah,
It's good to know where your weaknesses are.
Benoit.
Yeah, I'm not so much consumer focused, so I don't really have the constraints that you guys do on business purpose. And so we self-service. I don't trust any other management service company to do that for me. So we have a team and we do it in-house. Had probably similar control issues when it came to my fixing and flipping in my rental portfolio because I built a property management company too. Sold that a long time ago, but yeah, I got issues.
Ready?
That's good. I want the servicer to do it or the attorney, but I have gone so far to say these are the questions that I want asked, and these are the answers that I want I want from the borrower. I want these questions answered. I've given them specific directions on what to ask, so I can make that decision. Now, how they ask them and how they get that information and being compliant, that's their job. But I want answers to these questions so I can make informed decisions.
Chris.
I'm gonna say it depends a little bit. Take it from Jamie. Depends. I mean, for the most part, yes, it's always a servicer. But if it starts getting into like a complex, or we're near the finish line, like on a forbearance, and we're arguing over like, is it $500 a month or 600 or 1,000, or is it 12 months or 18 months? A lot of times at that point in time, we may just reach out and have the servicer and just get us all on a phone call together and basically like, okay, let's just hash it out over the phone, because as you all know, it could take another month between just the back and forths on some of these things to get something done from that perspective. Usually if it's in legal, and we have an attorney, we would then have the attorney make that communication. There has been occasions where I actually have a call tomorrow with a borrower that's in foreclosure that basically we've proposed something to them and the attorney's been working it out, and they're like, and I've spoken to this borrower in the past, they're like, both attorneys agreed, okay, you guys can just get on the phone and try and hash it out, of course, non-binding and so forth, but from that standpoint, but just kind of, instead of paying attorneys to sit on the phone while we kind of hash out some final details from that perspective. So that's why I say it depends. Usually I'm always relying on the servicer until it kind of gets to a point where it's just much faster to have it be done internally.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what anybody says. I'm using the servicer primarily. Very rarely will I get involved, unless I don't know if it's Dan or Jamie that mentioned it. If there's a long drag of communication, I think the servicer should have contacted them. Then I'll step in and say, "Hey, servicer, I'm just going to contact them because I'm just going to text them right now." But I've also noticed when I get involved with borrowers, especially on seller finance deals, when I'm buying them from operators, that if I get in the relationship with the borrower early, they just start contacting me and they don't go back to the servicer. And it's like a hard to push them back to the servicer. So I try to deflect that, but it doesn't seem to work easily all the time. So I've always just said, I'll just let the servicer deal with it, and I'll wait a few weeks if communication hasn't gone the way it should go.
Yeah, I just had one 2 days ago where the borrower didn't provide proof of insurance. The servicer was trying to get a hold of them. So we put FPI in place and started charging the borrower. And a couple months later, the borrower came back and said, "Hey, I've had insurance all along." Okay, cool. So we took it off. But then she wanted like a refund for the FPI. And I said, no. And then the servicer said, well, she wants to talk to you directly. And I said, well, I don't want to talk to her. Just tell her next time, send proof of insurance. And then we won't do that.
Yeah, it's like your decision's not going to change because you were actually directing the servicer to begin with. So it's like,
No, and I don't want to waste time because I know it's just going to be some nonsense. Yeah.
all right. The next question I have is a two-parter, and everyone on here has kind of helped mentor somebody in some capacity, or you've kind of educated or trained somebody in this space. So in what you've seen over your lifespan in this note space, what's like the one due diligence checklist item that people are skipping over? And then also, what is the one post-closing checklist item that you see people are skipping over in your experience? Go, Dan.
Say the question.
Yeah, it's like a due diligence step that people miss.
Yeah, what's a due diligence step that people miss, and then what's a post-closing after they buy the deal? What's the one thing that they're missing on their checklist that they often skip? Like you see people do, be like, oh, why is it so common?
People need more time. I already got mine. So
I got.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
So due diligence, and this blows my mind, and I tell people they need to do it. The servicing notes, like people literally close without servicing notes, and I'm like, why? Like, get that information. Oh, they sent me the stuff, and I'm like, just because they send it to you, you got to ask for additional information. Like, get that. And then post-closing, record it, making sure the documents are recorded. I still literally found the other day, because every end of year, I kind of just go through and like see like if there's anything floating out there from my old entities. I had a fund called MFT RE Holdings that closed, I think, in 2020. There's still some contract for deeds that still aren't recorded and whoever's name from 2020. And I'm just like, yeah.
I've got an answer, Justin.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go for it.
Two different types of insurance. So the due diligence one, this may seem like it should be obvious that people check it, but just checking that there was title insurance, a lender's title policy issued.
Yeah.
It actually is more common. And I mean, I just had this with a mentee. You said I mentor people, and this guy was under agreement to purchase a note, and we went through everything. Everything else looked fine, but then I said, well, where's the title policy? There wasn't one, because it was a seller financed loan from a couple years ago. And the seller said, sorry, the seller of the note said, we're not going to provide a title policy. I'm like, well, okay, well, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not buying the note.
I'm not exactly. So we walked away. And the second one is, I guess I would say probably less important, but post-closing, just having that mortgagee clause changed.
Oh yeah.
To your company's name. It's easy to forget that. So that's one step to do after you buy the note.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
All right. We work with a lot of seller finance notes. Okay. So the title policy, Jamie, what she's saying, I mean, it's amazing the number of people who do not get a title policy or a lender's policy, either one, and that should just be standard procedure. Okay. So I see that. I also see post-closing that they don't give direction to the borrower where they need to send their first payment and when it's due and how much it is. And, so it's like it's not uncommon to see the first payment that is an NSF if it's been on a CH or something like that, because they didn't know where to send the payment. All right. So we've seen that quite often as well. So those would be the two things that I see.
Okay.
I would echo everything that you guys said. And I'm just, of course, a little different with my history and what I'm doing today. But I think the consistency is the due diligence. I've seen people come into deals, whether they're buying a property, whether they're buying a note, whether they're creating a note, where they're bringing money or their equity into it, where they have something to lose. And they really don't research what they're doing. So they might have a bad house. They might be upside down from day one because the acquisition and the rehab price is way more than the after repair value. They don't know. Or they're working with someone who's shady and they don't know. Or they don't get good title insurance, or they don't, all those things that you guys mentioned. There's just, it's just so much loss of income and wealth in that piece of the business over and over and over again. I see it all the time. On the backside, I would agree also with the recording of the mortgage, making sure you're secure, because without that document, you did a great closing. You might have been 100% professional. You might have had an attorney help you with everything, but if that step gets missed, you're still not secure.
Yeah. Dan, did you think of anything?
I did, yeah. I mean, I think on the front end, it's kind of generic, but it's just basically like not understanding chain of title.
Mm-hmm.
And then not like having an attorney or having somebody just review that for you if you don't really understand chain of title, to make sure that everything is clear. And then on the backside, yeah, I definitely agree. Like not recording things is an issue, but kind of the other one I would add there would be not following up with the loan servicers so that that loan, if you're transferring it, that transfer gets done. I've had some get hung up. And then following up to make sure that all the payments that came in after the cutoff date that are supposed to go to you actually go to you. Because I've had to do a lot of fighting like afterwards, like to chase down payments, and it's annoying, but like you'll lose a bunch if you don't do that.
I've got this is similar, Dan, but just it's actually I guess part of due diligence, Justin. But if you're under agreement at a certain price, maybe a certain percentage of UPB, principal balance, and then payments come in during your due diligence period. Jay, you did this with me, which was good when I sold one to you, and you should, right? Just I think one payment came in, so we lowered the purchase price slightly, right? So something to check, like the principal balance and the payoff. Just make sure what you're under agreement for. If that's come down, if that's changed, maybe your purchase price should come down as well.
Yeah, the post transfer, payments are huge. People miss that.
Yeah, you guys hit everything that I see commonly. One thing that I was getting annoyed with, my earlier years in this, land contracts were out there in droves. So when I would resell land contracts, I would actually have the land contract recorded, the quitclaim deed recorded for them. I would do it for them because people kept missing it, and I kept getting annoyed for being on the county's radar. So I just started doing that, and I'd charge them for a fee to do it. But I said, this is just part of the closing. Like, I'll just record it for you because it's just going to be easier for me to do it.
It gets done.
Yeah. But Jamie brought up another good one with the mortgagee clause on insurances.
Yeah.
That's a huge one that people just often miss. So those are good. If you're new or newer in this business and listening to this is good information for you to write down. Chris, do you have a kill criteria when you're looking at a deal and you're like, nope? Besides the mobile home one that you mentioned earlier, like, is there something that you just immediately kill the deal when you're looking at it? Be like, oh God, no way. Like,
yeah, New York,
the state.
That's an automatic. Yeah, me too.
New York's an automatic. Interest rate below 5% usually is automatic kill, because it's going to be like at 3.5%, and the borrower's probably like 6 months behind, and your foreclosure number versus they turn around and reinstate for what you can pay for it is just so way out of whack. So those usually get killed. Like, I looked at a pool today of $7 million of loans, but they're all like 3.5%, 4%. And then I quickly looked at it, and some of them were 12 months behind, but when I ran them through, I'm like, they're judicial states. So it's like, just the numbers don't make sense, because if they file bankruptcy, I'm going to way overpay for those loans. So I think that's a big one that people miss. If it's something that is a kill switch, is people just assume like, oh, it's behind, I'm going to foreclose, and not realize the borrower's got a 3.5% loan, 6 months behind. If they cut a check for several $1,000s and reinstate and keep paying you, you just bought a loan at 3.5% that you probably didn't get a super discount on, and it's probably going to yield you like 6 or 7, which is not what we target in this
doesn't
space.
cut it, no. For For me, it's definitely my private capital is basically at 8%. Okay, so if I'm seeing something that's originated at 7.5 or 8, I mean, it's out. It's got to be 10, 11, 12, or 9.5 to 12. It's got to be originated at. So that's an automatic. And I'm going to go say so far as anything up on the East Coast from the Carolinas north to the upper part, Pennsylvania is an absolute out. So we operate primarily in 8 states, and we stay pretty close to those 8 states.
It's good to have discipline.
Yeah.
Benoit?
Yeah, similar to you guys, location's a big thing for me. There's a handful of places in our neighborhoods that I don't want to go into. I will not go into. Essentially, if it's a property that I'd be willing to take back, I'll do it. There's quite a few spots I won't. One other thing that I would add in there that you guys haven't mentioned yet is I do not do flood zones. I don't want to mess with that. And it's just a big headache. You got the insurance, you got all that kind of mess that happens with it. Usually it's people that really can't afford a better property in that area that buy those. So I just stay out of that. And as far as other things that I kind of watch out for, since I am doing business purpose loans, if I'm working with an investor who's out of state that's trying to do a really big rehab, that's a red flag. I don't want to do that if they don't have any kind of local contact that's dedicated to them, their team, that kind of thing. It's a lot of risk in that realm. So I just try to put the risk associated with it and the location and the property all together and figure it out.
Good one. Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I have similar buy box criteria as well, as like you guys are talking about. But assuming the deal is within our buy box, we're moving forward. I would say if the seller of the note is dishonest in any way, or just seems to be hiding something, doesn't want to share a certain piece of information that is obviously relevant, it's probably an automatic kill.
I agree with that one too.
Know the integrity, the best you can, the integrity of your counterpart.
Disclosure. Need disclosure.
Yep.
Deppen?
Yeah, I'll kind of piggyback on that one a little bit. I mean, the integrity definitely, and I've also got like my no-go zones. Although having said that, I'm on the verge of buying a non-performing note in Oakland, which that could be like a really interesting case study till it's all said and done. But that's another story. But I would say
Did you buy that one from?
Not yet, but we're working on it. We're close. We can talk about it. The price has gone down significantly too, but it's
No deed in lieu?
That's the deal, but we got to get it worked out. Apparently the borrower doesn't speak English, and we're trying to find out from the seller whether they speak Chinese or Korean. And that's where we are.
Ooh,
right now.
That's a little harder to find.
Well, the only reason this is way outside my wheelhouse, the only reason I'm doing this one is I have a partner in that area who's super experienced in this, and she's kind of driving the ship on this one for the most part. So that's the only reason I'm even considering it. But normally that would be like a hard no-go. But the other one I was going to say though, along with the like integrity of the counterparty, would just be their communication. Like if somebody's slow to communicate or they're not, to me it's just a red flag. Like either they're not really serious about selling the note, or maybe they're hiding something, or maybe just this whole thing is going to turn into like a giant time suck that doesn't need to be. So I'm kind of in the mode where I feel like I see enough deals. I just want to do stuff I can do and move. I don't feel like I have to spend time like spoon feeding people to do stuff, because I'm trying to do too much at the same time to do that.
These are all good ones you guys shared. I'd say location is definitely high up on my list, but then if the properties looks like dog crap, I'm not even looking at the terms. If it looks like dog crap, I'm just not. I'm tired of taking properties back and having to deal with that. Even if the pay history is solid. So if the property doesn't look good to begin with, I'm definitely going to be looking the other direction. So,
the one thing that's really should stand out to everyone that may be listening, we all are disciplined in our approaches, and we have buy boxes. We all have specific go, no-go things that we will accept and what we won't accept. That is, if you're getting into this business, that's part of what you have to decide for yourself, what your tolerances tolerance levels is. All right. Every one of our tolerance levels are a little different in that respect.
We've all been burned.
You get more
Some way.
conservative, the more you get burned. Let's put it that way.
All right. And anybody can answer this one, or everybody can answer it, individually. This is always the fun one that I like to, toy with, is either, do you want, in a note deal, do you want high equity with a low payment, or do you want low equity with a high payment? Like, does it matter to you? I know that it depends, but if you had to choose one, like, what are you leaning towards?
Oh, I don't have a choice on that. Okay, I can't do
You
a
gotta
low
go high payment.
I got to have a high payment. I won't even look at a deal that doesn't have a monthly payment of at least $600 a month because I can't make the numbers work as far as what our private capital is at.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense for you. Benoit, do you have an opinion?
I think both. And the reason why I say both is because it depends on where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
So if you've got access to IRAs with small amounts of money, that's a great avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got deep pockets, that's a great avenue.
Yeah. Dan, Jamie, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to basically say the same thing. Like, if I'm buying out of my self-directed IRA, I don't need necessarily the highest payment, best return. I like having the equity. I'm not going to have to worry about too much. If I'm doing it in another structure, then that could be a different story. But mileage always varies. The devil's in the details,
Yeah.
On the NPL side, I mean, it really varies because it's all yield driven and so forth. On performing, it's interesting because we recently bought some loans that had some upcoming maturity dates and they were written at 5%, but they had tons of equity. And typically we would shy away from these, but we actually reached out to the borrowers, offered them a 3% discount on the loan, and to basically offer them a 3% discount, say, hey, we'll take a short payoff if you refinance, and we'll actually hook up somebody to refinance you and we'll pay all closing costs. And out of the 4 of them, 3 of them are like, absolutely, because we paid 80 cents on the dollar for these. So all of a sudden it's costs us 5%. So we made essentially 15% on those assets in the span of 3 months. So it turned out to be a nice little play where if you buy low interest rate ones and you're buying it at a steeper discount, reach out to the borrower and say, hey, look, I'll buy down your rate for 3 years or 2 years to your current rate or something like that, or work out some unique arrangement there, that because if you turn around and try and sell this thing, you're not going to get it. And if you get a payoff to give on a $100,000 loan, say you paid 75 for it or something, who knows, say, hey, look, I'll give you 5 or 7 grand off of it, make 18 grand real quick like that. It's a nice little pull.
The other thing you can try, I don't know anybody that's really done this yet, but since there's this proliferation of non-QM lending programs from all the big wholesale lenders, a lot of borrowers, especially in the seller finance loans that may not have qualified for traditional financing, they'll often qualify for a non-QM loan, and they don't know because a lot of these are relatively new. So yeah, if you can buy a loan at a discount and connect them with a non-QM lender, you could also just engineer an early payoff that way too.
Yep, same thing. Yep.
You guys want to do some true and false? True or false? Not true and false.
Sure.
Or false.
Truth
Does
or
paper
dare?
matter more than property?
Oh,
Man, that's tough.
They both matter.
I mean,
True
it's
or false?
I would say
false.
Paper matters more than property. I would say false too.
False. Yeah, I would say false too.
I mean, what do we mean by paper? Because, well, I'm just saying
The napkin it's written on.
If
Is it written on a napkin?
if the paper's so bad your lien is not secure, then the property is
Doesn't
worth
matter. Yeah, the property doesn't matter.
I would say
It's like, are you smashing your heart or your brain? You need them both.
There you go.
I actually say paper matters.
Same time.
more.
now that I think about it, I would say the property, because sometimes if the paper is garbage, you can redo the paper.
Mm-hmm.
If the
If you
borrower
get
has
the
to
borrower
cooperate,
to
the borrower's got to
cooperate, yeah.
cooperate.
What if your property's garbage and you have good paper?
Yeah.
That's
So
not
what
very
if you
good
get no?
either.
There's no title insurance, and then
But
you
if they
realize-
have other property, then you can go after the other property. So, you know.
Deficiency judgment. There we go.
Yeah,
Go
there
after
you
the
go.
other.
So
Yeah.
that's why I say it's false, because they both have, one's not really, it depends.
They're not mutually exclusive, are they?
Yep, exactly.
Is servicer more important than the price of the servicer?
like
True.
the quality of their service. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Is
Like,
the
would you
servicer
pay
you
more for a better
choose?
servicer? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you? What I'm trying to say is, are you picking the servicer because they are the best regardless of the price, or are you shopping the servicer because of the price?
Well, what I'm doing is if it's already at a servicer that I use, I'm just going to let it there because that's like the simplest thing. If it's not at any of my servicers and I'm moving it, I'm just going to move it to whichever one I think is going to be able to do the best job for that particular loan.
Right, because it might be an MPO or it might be a
Performing
might
or
be
whatever. Yeah.
a
But
special.
then you got to check like 15 websites to check on your portfolio.
True.
Don't
I
have
don't
that many.
use a lot of different services. I think we just use two mainly. But
I got
most of them are at
4.
one servicer.
I had moved a bunch of loans over to the cheapest servicer, and I think Chris did as well years ago, and I don't have any more with them anymore. So
He
you get
paid
what
the
you
price.
pay for.
Yeah. I'm okay.
Mhm.
I'm okay paying a higher price as long as I'm getting a better quality service than what the cheaper is, and number two, then I'm able to factor that, that I factor that into the deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know why I don't care about the price of the servicer? Because I factor it into my price.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
And I
matter to
also-
me.
I now have a greater appreciation for how difficult the servicing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Running a
And that's another reason why I don't buy low payment loans, because
Yeah.
when you're looking at $35, $40, whatever, I mean,
Right.
that just,
well, that
it
was
just
one
blows
big
up.
reason
Better off
when I
self-servicing that one.
20
When I
to 30% alone.
yeah.
mentioned the
exactly.
lumpy borrowers. That's one big reason. If a lot of servicers, all of a sudden the servicing fee will be triple when
Yep.
it goes non-performing or beyond 90 days. So that's a big
Has
deal.
anyone ever
Yeah.
wrote into the note or the loan terms that if the loan becomes delinquent, the servicing fee it will increase?
Yeah.
I don't.
I didn't think you could, but I just want to know if anyone's seen it.
No, I've
Not
never
owner
done
I haven't
that.
seen
occupied.
that one.
I mean, like Benoit, he can do whatever he wants on the
Business
commercial.
purpose.
Yeah,
Business
business
purpose
purpose, you
loan.
can write that in and so forth. But on the consumer loans, yeah, you can't charge the borrower for the servicing or.
You
Have
can
you
charge
guys
them for the
noticed
servicing.
over
can't
You
time-
you?
can
for the
charge for the
service,
service,
but
but you can't increase it. You
Yes,
can't
I'm
increase
sorry,
Is that what
it.
you meant? That's what you
Correct.
meant, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I knew that
exactly.
you knew the answer.
Yeah, I gotta
Yes.
say.
Have you guys noticed over time some of the servicing companies' service actually declining?
They all ebb and flow.
I've seen
Yeah,
them go.
decline.
I've seen what Jay's seen. I've seen them go back and forth over time.
So what I've done recently is not only servicers, all vendors, preservation, attorneys. We've just done a full-blown analysis of all of them because like ones we were using pre-COVID versus during COVID versus today, between turnover and just how they operate and certain things have changed dramatically, where I know some attorneys who are rock stars who now, I wouldn't pass the salt down to them, and vice versa.
They
And
got fat and sassy and got lazy. Is that what I hear you saying?
yeah, I mean, it's essentially like, hey, got to send a demand, and 3 weeks later, it's like, still didn't send it, and it's like, okay, can I get a new payoff? And it's like, yeah, but when's it good through? And sarcastically, like, are you gonna get it out before the time it's good through? Like, so we can get this thing rolling. Yeah.
So where do you guys recommend people go to get updated information on servicers and how they're doing?
Great
Good
question.
question.
I don't know if they're
Paper Trail Facebook group. There we
There
go.
you
How's
go.
that?
There you
Yeah.
go. That's where all the
Plug for
scoop
day.
is.
So
Be the bank broadcast monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you burn the bridges there at the paper
Powered
trail.
by-
I think one of the things that we got to be careful of, because I think everybody has the love-hate relationship with servicers.
Yeah.
I think what people need to understand is they all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses.
Yes.
You need to really understand what those are and then focus on the weaknesses to make sure something doesn't get slipped or missed. Is really the way, like, we use our servicer. You know, we've got one right now that's got our portfolio, and they're great at, like, I don't know, a high percentage of what they do. And there's certain things that are just consistently like, yep, you missed it and you got to stay on top of it. One example, a borrower files bankruptcy. And when it files bankruptcy, you have to reset the next pay date to current, and then they sometimes split it out into 2 loans or do all this crazy shit. But then the borrower makes like 3 payments, bankruptcy gets dismissed. They got to go back now and change that next due that they brought forward to current back to 2020 or whatever it is. Because if they don't, then you're going to write a payoff and be like, wait, the payoff was 300,000 6 months ago. Now it's only 87,000. Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
So that's like a perfect example of like them not going back and just like hammering them and staying on top of them. The other is
Default
like you
interest rate.
default
Oh.
interest, but no,
Yes.
the payments of, you know, payments come in, or when they board the loan and the data doesn't match like the tape, and basically like that, or no, charges was the other one. The charges from putting all the charges in from the data file that comes across and making sure you understand that they included them. Sometimes they negative escrow, they don't put negative escrow as a charge because it's just like, oops, we didn't, that's not a charge. It's just negative escrow. It's like, no, they paid that out. So it's actually a charge.
It's a charge. Yeah.
Good conversation today. We're getting close to the top of the hour. Does anybody have anything funny that happened to them since the last time that we were on the call?
Jamie had a birthday.
I was gonna say, I
Jamie-
took
Happy
Jamie
birthday,
turned
Jamie.
100.
Yeah, there you go.
Birthday.
Half
Thanks.
100.
Half 100.
Yeah.
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 50-cent piece. Happy belated birthday, Jamie.
Thank you.
I don't think I sent you a text. I meant to.
Oh, you can after
Sorry,
this.
man. Sorry.
You need my address
No.
for the gift.
Yeah. For the check. Check's in the mail.
Checks in the mail. There
Don't
you
cash it till 27.
Wiring instructions.
Not funny, but I'll just share this quick personal story. So I took my son to his first football game a few months ago up in Baltimore.
Pro game.
And what's that?
A pro game.
Pro game.
Yeah,
Patriots,
NFL.
Ravens.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
Patriots, Ravens. And so basically all of a sudden we're sitting there and watching the, you know, it came through like on YouTube or something, like the highlights of video from the game and stuff and so forth of like, you know, the sounds of the game. And you got like 4 minutes into the video and all of a sudden it scans and they're like, my son right in the middle of the thing, like right there
Wow.
next to the guy who's all painted and me just standing there like this, like cheering and so forth and so on. But yeah, and all of a sudden like I send it to him and stuff, and so and all of a sudden like, you know, he was like ecstatic and so forth and so on. I'm sitting thinking like, I've been to so many freaking football games and stuff like that. And it's like first freaking game. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
there's him, in the.
Well, because you weren't in the
Patriots.
nosebleed seats this time. You
So,
were
There you go.
No, we actually had really good seats that I bought. I'm sorry, stealing all the time. I bought when like the Patriots were like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3
Nice.
1 or whatever, and the Ravens were like 1 and 4. So the tickets were
Yeah.
like dirt cheap because both teams sucked at the beginning of the season. So
Market timing.
I saw a Rockies game like that years ago. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
terrible. We bought it was like the next to the last game, and it was like a nothing game, and then they went on this like 20-game winning streak, and so then it ended up mattering for the playoffs. It was awesome.
Yep.
Timing's everything, right, boys?
Well, Justin and I are going to say go Hoosiers. Okay. So
Ah.
Yeah.
You know,
Hoosiers.
I remember at Note Expo, you guys were talking a lot of smack about the Colts. What time are they playing this weekend?
Yeah.
So what, those Hoosiers could take out half the NFL. They are fantastic.
So
Yeah.
my niece goes to Ole Miss, and they just lost to Miami. And
Howdy,
I
howdy.
was talking to my sister. I'm like, you're lucky they lost to Miami because they would have got their asses handed to them. Playing Indiana is just, crushing everybody.
So I
Amazing.
don't follow college football that close. Like, how did they get like so good? Like, historically,
Signetti.
that's not. Yeah.
They got an Alabama
Well,
assistant
no,
coach up there.
Good recruiting.
No,
There you
here's a comical stat I did read though.
Okay.
The average age of the Green Bay Packers is like 26.1 years of age for the players.
Okay.
The average age for Indiana University's football team is like 23.6 years. Like,
well, you got the
Your senior.
COVID years. They got 6 years out of COVID.
yeah, a
That's
lot
right,
of them
6
have
years.
like the 6 years. Like, I
yeah.
think, you know, well, and then you look at Miami, like the quarterback Beck from Miami, I think is like 4 months younger than Drake May. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so, you know, it's, you know, some of these NFL quarterbacks have been in the league for like 2-3 years or like the same age as some of these college guys now.
Yeah, very true. So,
Mhm.
well, I'm going to say it's like a home game for Miami, so it will be a challenge.
No,
So,
Fill up that
No.
no
stadium.
challenge. No challenge.
I
Hoosiers, baby.
don't see it being a close game.
All right.
Mm-mm.
All right, guys, we're out of time for today. We're gonna sign off, and we'll see you guys in, I don't know what date it is, February. Is it Valentine's Day? We're gonna be on a
Day after.
Valentine's
The
Day?
14th,
I think.
1 month.
I think the
yeah.
15th is
The
the
day
Wednesday.
after? Okay, could
Yep.
be post Valentine's Day's blues for everybody.
So
All right, guys. Thanks for being on the
Okay.
call.
Thank
See ya.
you all.
take care.
Take
All
care.
right,
That's it.
bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.